I think to the listener and the viewer, solar is considered to be a very good thing. And what could be wrong with solar? Uh, you've written a little bit about the environmental impacts that's had locally. Would you mind unpacking that a bit, please?
Yeah. So basically, the problem with solar panels, especially on a mass level, is that you basically take an ecosystem, a landscape, and you cover it with solar panels. I mean, we're not talking about like a few solar panels. We're talking about, so for instance, our friends, they live in a village outside of town. Their backyard goes out to these extensive hills and fields and a little bit of forest. There's like one shepherd who still has a herd of sheep that he brings around occasionally. Well, the solar park they want to build would basically, you go to the top of like that first hill, and it would basically cover everything you could see, the eye can see, for a while. So like my friend who's there, she has a horse, horses and things that she like takes for long walks out there. All of that would be over for them. And then and then the solar panels themselves, they leach lots of metals into the environment. So you have to it's going from the environmental impact that they had seen that it would cause. It would mess with the water systems, the whole water systems of this area, and they already have problems with like their groundwater and their drinking water. In these solar parks, they end up using a lot of herbicides a lot of times, because really with the solar panels, what you want is you want to keep them clean, because that's how they stay efficient. So you have to wash them a lot. So it requires using a lot of water. They don't want, things growing up around that could interfere mechanically or block the sun at all, things like this. Um, as far as wind goes, the scariest thing that I have learned from all of these various meetings that I've gone to with local groups here is that according to the hydraulics agency of Spain, the wind parks that are planned, because uh, they're getting so because they're so big and so high, you don't realize that it's not like you put a windmill down and it just like covers the surface. You have to drill as far as you see, as high as you see. You have to drill almost as deep into the ground to be able to anchor this thing down. And now they're doing these like mega windmills. I mean, they're just gigantic. They're like huge skyscrapers out there in the middle of your mountains, right? Well, these could pierce the aquifers. That means they're going to drain our aquifers. They could drain our aquifers. I mean, it's terrible. And like the government knows this. It's terrifying when you think about it.
Yeah, it is the environmental impacts of renewable energy. They're far too infrequently reckoned with. I often see complaints about there being a ban here in the UK on onshore wind farms. So, this is ridiculous. Stop it with the NIMBYism. Get it built. And I didn't know about the aquifers. But that point you made, even just about the impact on the natural landscape, which isn't just for us humans to enjoy and go, what a nice view, is ultimately a migratory bird patterns. You're going to be disrupting all sorts of other life out there. I was reading about and watching short snippets from a documentary on the impact of offshore wind farms the other day on whales and dolphins because of their sonar detection. And they within those snippets of the documentary, um, they were simulating the noise that they would hear when these things were planted in the sea, and effectively it's discombobulating them so much that they're either dying before they even get to shore, but there are many whales washing up on shore near places where offshore wind farms have been built. And so there'll be some who say, look, we can't get in the way of progress here. We've got no choice. We've got to reduce carbon emissions and have a renewable energy future. But I do think it's utterly reckless to dismiss the health of ecologies, which include animals and plants too, right? That's all part of creation. And if we're going to be good stewards of it, if we're going to actually try to live in accordance with the way things work together, then I think we need to think about those things.